City, a little town where I'm from, where everybody's southern raised, just as good as they come. Backwoods and mossy oak and mud holes, and back then we only gave what the farm grow. Man, I miss some days how we played on them dirt roads, and out of towners came with respect, cause they know we all close. Yeah, southern pride, towing gun folks. Welcome to my city, I-75 South, just north of Live Oak.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, title town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
It's nothing like our dirt roads, you can bet that, son. I'm from a city, by any means, we gon' protect our guns. I hang with the rednecks and geeks. We get up in big trucks in the backwoods like Indians and teepees. This the home of the mighty, mighty Vikings. Wildcats, blazing, title town license. Winners, pretty girls with country grammar. When I say about Austin, Georgia, I ain't talking about Atlanta. This a different type of city, where the woods are pretty, but get gritty. You hear me? What you know about that 229? You can find us on the Florida, Georgia line, where I reside.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey. Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods, running around this small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, downtown, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
Little back humor joke there. Guys, I forgot to unmute my mic. I said, welcome to Valdosta, GA. Welcome to the 229. And those guys in the background are laughing at me because they know why I had my mute on. I'm sorry. I get it. What a way to start the show tonight. Welcome to the 229, guys. And when we're talking about the 229, we're talking about Titletown. And y'all know who runs this town, right? These are the Vikings. What do you mean you can't hear me, Jerry Sapp? Can y'all hear me, Billy? Okay, so you couldn't hear me early on, but you can hear me now. So anyway, I'm looking forward to tonight's show, guys, because, well, even though we've got an off week, we have got a lot to talk about. So let me go ahead and bring on our superfan panel for tonight, Billy Pearson and Chase Garnton. How you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Well, good, dude. Listen, I couldn't believe I forgot to unmute my mic, but we'll just leave that story just between us. Okay. So
Maybe.
Anyway. Just tell it as a one-off. It is a one-off. Listen, we've got a week off. What are you guys going to do with your Friday night off?
Oh man, I was
prop my feet up.
You gonna put your feet up?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my feet up.
I don't blame you, man, because on a typical Friday night, Chase, how much do you think, how far do you think we walk all over that field doing video and photography work?
I don't know, but I know I have a pair of tennis shoes out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to put a little pedometer on my side one Friday night, but I would imagine it's probably 4 to 5 miles.
I would imagine.
The way we go back and forth on that field. So anyway, what are you headed? Where are you headed to tomorrow night, Billy? You going to kick your feet up as well?
No, I think I'm gonna take my fiance out to dinner.
Oh,
We haven't had, we go out to dinner with family and friends, but just her and I don't get to go out like we did when we were courting or dating or whatever as much. So I think we'll take her out to eat.
Speaking of that, I think Viking Nation, Billy, wants to know how loyal you are to the program. So you've got a wedding that's coming up. So you're planning on getting married during an open week, right? And you're planning on being back the following Friday night for the game.
Yes.
Hey, there you go, guys. I don't know where you'll find any more loyal fan than to plan your wedding to the love of your life around an open week during football season.
That's right.
You know what's funny about that, Larry?
What's that?
She's the one that planned it.
That is the woman for you, man. You got a good one right there. That's awesome, dude. Well, congratulations. I know that you guys have been working up to this moment for a while, so we want to say congratulations to you and Michelle Carter. So anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the show for tonight, the content that we are so jazzed up about. First of all, I want to make sure I thank our title sponsor, Pepsi Bottling Company. Doyer Deloach and the guys at Pepsi do a great job. You guys hear me say this during the season twice a week now, but they do. Every single day is a Pepsi day, right? That might be a new catchphrase for them. I would not be surprised if that little jingle appears in the next national Pepsi commercial. Every single day is a Pepsi day, whether it's Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Rockstar, Mountain Dew Energy, or Mountain Dew Spark. We want to thank the guys at Pepsi Bottling Company. We also want to thank a longtime fan of the show and longtime Viking himself, Tim Neesmith, with A Shade of Perfection. Does a great job with custom shades and blinds. You can give Timmy a call at 229-251-3479. Last one during this segment is the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. Y'all tune in for later on in the show because we're rolling out our migraine moment, sponsored by the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. I think you'll like how we're approaching this. So anyway, thank Josh Batson and Justin Haskin. These are your certified headache medicine specialists in the Valdosta area and really all around South Georgia. No one does it. No one treats migraines like these guys do. And they've got the customer or patient testimonials to prove it. So we'll talk about a few other sponsors a little bit later on in the show. But guys, we had a big week against North Miami Beach last Friday night. It did rain, but we didn't have a weather delay, right? And we actually got home before midnight. So how big was that?
It was great.
I don't know. I'd like to, hear Chris Beckham, when I leave the ball games, we had several nights that he was in bed before we ever left the stadium. So
man, you're not kidding. I mean, it's a late night when we leave the stadium and Chris has already signed off the air because he goes off the air at midnight, right?
Yeah.
But it was a big night. Lowndes rolls over North Miami, and this was expected. We talked about this on the show last week. There was some talk about North Miami scoring a lot of points on Lee County last year. They were a disciplined team. Well, that Lowndes defense showed up and showed out and really shut this team down to the tune of a 49-3 victory. And so we'll go over some of the stats a little bit later on in a couple minutes. But what was your take? Chase, let me start with you. What was your take on the game Friday night? What did you like? And we'll just start that off. What did you like about the game Friday night?
I like the way our defense played, honestly. Defense we brought pressure, we brought it often, and we brought it from all different angles. I thought that the quarterback for North Miami Beach Senior High Chargers I thought he played well, given what he was facing. I thought that he done some really good things. I think our defense just kept him guessing all the night because he never knew where it was coming from.
Absolutely.
I thought Anders did a really, really great job. I was really, really impressed with special teams. Our kicking game, I don't know what happened, night and day difference from the first 2 games to that game.
I'm glad you brought that up because there was a little bit of concern going into this game because we had a couple of kickers to leave the team, but the freshman, what was his name? Andrews?
Aiden Andrews.
Man, did he step up? And I kept hearing all night in the back of my mind, Larry Munson said, "My God, a freshman."
Hey, but Larry, I told you he was coming.
Yeah, you did. You did. Spot on, man. Behind the scenes, you said, not to worry, this kid is good. And he was money when it came to field goals and PATs, man. Great stuff. And he's only going to grow. That leg is going to get stronger and stronger.
Oh, yeah.
He had 2 in the 40-yard range. I think one was 41, one was right at 40. So
by a comfortable margin.
Leg left. Yeah, plenty of leg left. I mean, I hadn't seen that since what? Jed Solomon?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's big for Lowndes. That will be able to keep us in a lot of games, being able to kick from that far out. That gives us the ability to put more points up when we would normally have to take a delay of game and back up a few extra yards.
Right. So anyway, Billy, what was your takeaway from the game?
Well, our kids played well. It's sometimes hard to get up whenever you know you're going to roll a team. But, kids seem to have a lot of energy. But I want to give a little shout out to our coaches. I know I'm a little rough on them sometimes. But I tell you what, our play calling was refreshing. We had probably the best play calling I've seen at Lowndes in quite a few years. Just my opinion. Maybe somebody disagrees, but I felt like we mixed it up. We seemed to execute the plays pretty well too, but overall, I just think the way we mixed things up kept it unbalanced. We weren't just a run first offense. You didn't know what we were doing. So I really enjoyed it. I thought our play calling was vastly improved from years past.
Yeah. So to that point, let me go ahead and put up on the screen the offensive stats. It's not all of them, but the basics, the basic offensive stats for the first 3 games in comparison side by side. And then we'll break them down and kind of give you an explanation because you'll scratch your head thinking it's like, why is that? And there's a plausible explanation. Check this out. Okay, so here are the offensive stats for weeks 1, 2, and 3. Total plays, total offense, rushing yards, passing yards. Like I said, the basics, right? So American Heritage, we had 61 total plays, and I know a Zach Grage offense, really a Sean Sutton offense, has been known to be a very fast-paced offense, and you get a lot of plays in. So you noticed over the weeks, though, you start at 61, then 57, and 51. At first glance, you're scratching your head thinking, okay, why is our play production actually going down? Well, there's a plausible explanation. Right. There's a very good explanation because it was the level of opponents. The way you didn't really have to run 75 plays against North Miami Beach. Right. You only had to run 50 to score 49 points. Against Gadsden County, we had 57 plays because a lot of the drives started in Gadsden territory. Right. So obviously you don't have to run as many plays to get down the field to score. So that's why, guys. So if you see the stats and stuff like that, there's a reason behind that. I'm not worried at all. Like Billy said, the production and the diverse play calling is really what stood out. If you take a look at the total offense, it's actually trending in the right way. 332 total yards against the North Miami Beach team. Rushing yards, we expect to increase week after week after week, 251 in this previous week. Now, the thing that kind of sticks out to me, though, guys, that I'm a little bit concerned about, I'm sure it's part of the plan, but the passing production, and I don't know if it's trending down on purpose. The completion percentage seems to be on the rise, but we had a total of 81 yards passing last Friday. Are y'all? Is that an area of concern to you guys, or no?
I don't think so, Larry. Here's the deal: if you want to up your passing percentage, the easiest way is to make the the pass is easier to catch. In other words, shortening them up a little bit, I
Yeah.
think, helps a little bit. It's certainly more manageable for the kids. Sometimes we take shots just to keep defenses honest. It's really low percentage, type plays when you're throwing the ball down the field, 45, 50 yards. That's really low percentage, but it's just to kind of keep everybody on their heels. I mean, if you get a cheap score out of the deal, or big long play, it's great.
Right.
But I mean, let's just go back to our college boys. I mean, Georgia don't throw the ball downfield that far, and look at what they did. So I'm not worried about the yards per catch or whatever. Just as long as we are up in that percentage of our passing percentage.
Yeah, I think this was. I haven't talked to Coach Grage or Coach Sutton, but in my mind, I think they're bringing Marvis along slowly but surely, giving him a little bit more responsibility as far as the passing game goes. And Georgia coach Trainer points this out. And you're right. There's been a lot of screenplays. That's probably by design, probably getting Marvis more comfortable with throwing the ball in big time games. I expect to see the passing playbook start to open up a little bit more as we get farther into the season against stiffer competition. I don't think you can totally rely on that screen game that we seem to be relying on right now. We're going to have to mix in slants, go routes, digs, intermediate passes. So I expect to see all those things, but I'm pretty pleased so far with the progression of the offense. So don't know if you guys share that same opinion.
The short passing games there, Larry, it's got to be a little bit quicker. I think as they bring Marvis along or however they, decide to move forward. But the short passing game is there. The out routes are there. The little underneath passes are there. It seems like we, as an offense, they try to wait just a little bit too long before they get the ball out.
Absolutely.
And if you wait too long, you give defenses time to adjust and read way too much. Get the ball out of his hands. Get him comfortable. Get him in rhythm. And, then you can open up the deep game. But you've got to get these underneath routes first. I mean, make the pass, like you said, make them simple, make them easy. Get the ball out of his hands quick. There was one play, and I know you remember which play I'm talking about Friday night, Larry, where Marvis just kept rolling, and I thought he was going to tuck it and run it on in, and tried to force a ball, wound up being intercepted. It happens. The best thing that they can do as a team is have an extremely short memory when it comes to that. Just next play, move on to the next play. If they
Absolutely,
can do that,
man.
they'll be fine. If they'll do that, they'll be fine. But yeah, as far as the passing game, I'm not worried. If you saw the shoot up in rushing yards in game number 3, everybody knows that was Smoke Fleming's return. And Road Dogg had a really good game as well. So, that was a 1-2 combination right there. So that's why the rushing yards shot way up.
Speaking of Marvis Parrish, let me congratulate our young quarterback on an outstanding achievement. I don't know. I think this has gone unnoticed this week, but I want to show something on the screen. This is from the GHSA website that keeps track of the top performers in the state. Our quarterback, Marvis Parrish, he's tied for number 5 in the state as far as total touchdowns goes, at 6 touchdowns so far. And this is all classifications. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he is the only Class 7A player on that screen in the top 10. So congratulations to Marvis Parrish, man. What an outstanding accomplishment. A lot of people were worried about the quarterback position and, are we going to have someone that can run the ball, run the offense? I think it's been answered. I'm pretty confident saying that. And this validates that Marvis is having an outstanding season so far through 3 weeks. And this stat right here is recognized by the GHSA, shows that, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's definitely one to look out for, not just in Lowndes County or in Region 1 7A, but he's definitely a quarterback that the whole state's going to be watching because he's electric when he's on. That's for sure.
Absolutely, man. He's averaging what? Now, that was actually through 2 games. So I don't have the totals for him in that 3rd game. So that's going to go up. So anyway, congratulations to Marvis Parrish for stepping in some big shoes. And it looks like he's cementing his own legacy in the early part of his career at Lowndes High School. Speaking of other congratulations, I want to also congratulate the players of the week for this past week. Overall player of the week, as determined by the coaches, number 2 is Aleem Brown. The defensive player of the week was number 10, CJ Brown. Offensive player of the week is one of those offensive linemen, man, Francisco Paz. Special teams number. Hey, Chase, man, this is your guy right here. Special teams number 29, Aiden Andrews.
Yes,
congratulations to young Aiden. Scout team number 25, Landon Hart, and number 38, Chris
Way
Hilton.
to go, Landon.
Yes, sir. Those scout guys, hey, those guys do not get enough credit, and they do not get enough love. That scout team, I think week in and week out, do an excellent job for our first team, offensive and defensive, giving them looks, giving them different things to work with, and that to me, that goes unnoticed.
That's right.
We get to see the stars on Friday night. We don't get to see the guys who are, laying the foundation throughout the week, which is their scout team players.
Yeah.
Those guys they do a fantastic job.
And unless you are really, really close to the Lowndes program and follow it closely, these are not household names, which goes to show you Lowndes is made up of a bunch of blue collar, pail and bucket, lunchbox type of guys, of blue collar work. Randy McPherson used to call them company men, right, Chase?
Yes, sir. Company men.
And that's what these guys are. I mean, I'm so proud of these kids for stepping up. A lot of young kids on this list as well. So looking forward to having them, or looking forward to seeing how these guys advance in their career. And I'm keeping my eyes on Aiden Andrews, man. I think he's going to be something special. Aleem Brown is going to be something special. So anyway.
According to Smoke Fleming, that's his nickname is Road Dog.
Road Dog.
Road Dog.
Okay, I'm just curious. Do you know where he got that nickname?
Nope, I didn't even want to ask.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah, he had a real good game. He had a real solid game. But I'll tell you what, guys, I don't know his name, but I guess he'd be our RB3, number 25. That guy is going to be special.
Number 25?
He's got a lot of speed.
Oh my word. He's going to be I think he's going to be a power back. I mean, he is. Hey, you don't, like you say, you want to talk about people that aren't household names. Like I said, I don't know this kid's name, but I watched him. He looks good to me. So our future is bright. And if your third string running back gets noticed too, that says something for your program. We're starting to get back to where we've got depth, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Did you say running back number 25?
I believe it's 25.
10th grader. His name is Kalen Flanagan.
Yes.
He's got a nice look.
And so
keep an eye on him. Seriously, if he gets some touches in some of the other games, keep an eye on him and see if y'all see what I see.
What's up with all these nicknames, man? Georgia coach trainer says number 25, his nickname is Batman. So we got Road Dog, Batman. Do you guys have nicknames? Some people call me LG.
Everybody just calls me Coach.
Coach? Okay. Billy, do you have a nickname yet?
Yeah, but I can't say it on the show.
Does Michelle have a nickname for you yet? Like Peaches or Honey Buns or Tuna Toes or
no, nothing crazy.
Chase,
like that.
Chase, we're gonna have to change that. We're gonna have to come up
my
with
love. That. I think she just says, "Hey, my love," all the time. So yeah.
How about Stud Muffin?
Well, I mean, it would fit.
I'm trying to figure out what. I've been sitting here this whole time trying to figure out what Billy's hat says.
What? Oh, it's Columbia.
It's
PFG.
Columbia.
I
PFG.
thought it might have been a Cowboys hat. I was going to say, Larry, we got.
Oh, heck no. Heck no.
Come on, don't come on, guys. Don't
No.
be picking on my Cowboys. I'm a Dallas fan. Come on now.
See, I knew there's one flaw. There's always one flaw.
Since the days of Roger Staubach and Tom Landry and Randy White, those guys. Yep. Tony Dorsett. Absolutely. We haven't had a really good team since then, but
And what year was that? 86?
a long time ago.
Hey, Tom, I was only born in 84.
Hey, listen, if we can wait 41 years for Georgia to win a national championship, I'll hang in there with my boys out in Dallas.
You might have to.
Yeah.
So listen, speaking of top performances, let's take a look at the composite rankings for the week. This is in Class 7A. Buford at the very top. Man, look at the automatic respect that Buford gets. No matter what classification they're in, it's across the board. Guys, if you're not familiar with the composite rankings, this comes out once a week in the Georgia High School Football Daily, where they basically compile all the rankings from all the different services out there, AJC, GPB, Score Atlanta, 680 The Fan has a poll, Max Preps, Maxwell rankings, and they total all those together, and you see the composite. That's why they call it the composite rankings. So Buford is the unanimous number one pick among all these different ranking services. Does that surprise you at all?
Nope.
No.
No.
University of Buford? Heck no.
Yeah. All right. So if you go down the screen, does number 10 and number 11 surprise you, especially in that order?
Yes.
How so?
Valdosta ain't played nobody.
Make me spit out my drink.
Man, I'm sorry. Facts is facts. You played a bunch of cupcakes and you think you're top dog. We started.
Well, hold up. They do play somebody tomorrow night, and if they beat that team, Warner Robins tomorrow night, they probably have earned that ranking. But it kind of surprised me to see Lowndes down there at number 11, even though first game out of the chute, we play a pretty good game against American Heritage, in my opinion.
I mean, we went out and jumped on a big dog. They went out and played a cupcake.
Well, that's okay, because we've had at least one cupcake since then, as in our own right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying we hadn't, but I mean, Cook shot themselves in the foot against Valdosta.
Yeah,
they had Valdosta scared.
Honestly. Could be. Byron Slack is doing an awesome job up in Cook County. Took down Brooks County last week, which is
that's huge. That
perennial favorite.
Huge. That's like winning the national championship. That's big.
I expected Byron Slack to do well up in Adel. I didn't think he would do well so quickly, because beating a Maurice Freeman coach team is a big deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I will tell you, no disrespect to Coach Freeman over there. I just like Byron Slack, and I think he's if he doesn't move up in classifications, he's going to be tough to beat for years until he decides to move up, because he is something else.
I think if he does well, I know this is the Lounge Show, but Byron Slack he feels like one of our own, right? So we enjoy talking about Coach Slack. I think that if he does well in Cook County, he could be there a long time, because they're going to treat him like a king up there, right?
Yeah.
He relates real good to the kids.
He does.
The kids love him, and I think there's a lot of mutual respect. So as long as the kids enjoy him, then the parents definitely will want to keep him around, and they'll give him a lot of love.
Absolutely. So, are there any other schools that surprise you on that list?
Maybe North Cobb, because they're sitting at 1-1. I mean,
Say that again now.
but look who they lost to. They lost to Buford, and had Buford on their heels late. Buford got a little lucky against North Cobb. So I'm just saying, North Cobb is loaded. So
yeah, North Cobb is good. 1 through 5, I think, is about right. 6 through 11 is probably interchangeable right about now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Parkview might be a little overrated. Walton may be a little overrated. I kind of disagree with Chase right now. Not to give Valdosta too much love, but hey, let Valdosta be ahead of us. Let them be let them stay ahead of us. Let them move on up. Just no particular reason. Just let them stay there. That's all I'm
no,
say.
we know the reason, Billy. You ain't
I've always got a backstory, but yeah, let them stay there.
Absolutely, I'm with you. I'm gonna ride that train with you. Yeah, I'm 100% behind you on that one. Yeah, let them climb up.
Yeah, so you got Colquitt County sitting there at number 5. That's probably right, considering the competition they've played. That's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game. I think Valdosta is about right. I don't like the Lowndes ranking. I think we're a little bit higher than that. I see us at probably number 7 or number 8. But it is what it is, and this will take care of itself as long as Lowndes keeps winning. They'll finally get the respect that they're due. Now tomorrow night, up at McConnell Talbert, that is going to be an interesting game, guys. If Valdosta goes up there, it's supposed to be rainy tomorrow night, so that defense is probably going to flex its muscle. They're basically going to dare Warner Robins to run on them, and they're going to have to because of the weather tomorrow night and because of their young offense. I think Valdosta is set up to knock off Warner Robins, and if that happens, I see them moving up to number 8 or number 9. I see Lowndes probably staying at 10 or 11 because we're off this week. Now, after next week, I see us moving up to 7 or 8. You guys agree, disagree, or what?
As long as we take care of business in Sharpsburg.
That's right.
Yeah, I kind of go along with Valdosta beating Warner Robins. Like you say, we're going to kind of stay unless anybody else below us has a real big win, which I don't know of any games that should change that. But yeah, we should start moving. We just got some tough games still. So if we win those, we definitely move up.
That's right. Now, speaking of winning, Chase, before the show started, you shared some information, some news about our younger Vikings. What you got?
Yeah, the Lowndes 9th grade team defeated Valdosta at Baysmore Hyder Stadium 26-20.
Okay, so Franklin Webb is reporting that as well. The 9th grade Vikings beat Valdosta 26-20. Did you go to that game, Chase?
I went to the first half. The first half, we came out a little sluggish. Valdosta had actually played a couple of games. We had not. That was our very first game out to shoot. So we come out, looked a little rusty, looked a little sluggish. Once we shook the cobwebs off, we seemed to get rolling. We scored. They drove down, scored first. Kind of shell shocked us a little bit.
Now they got us on the JV side. They beat us 14-12 tonight in the JV game. So it looks like both of these programs are heading in the right direction. Looks like some close games in the next few years that's ahead for this. Now, Chase, let me ask you guys something. Now that Tate Snellgrove is the backup, right? He's been taking some snaps during these varsity games. Who is the 9th grade quarterback now?
It's still Tate.
Oh, so he's taking snaps with the 9th grade during the 9th grade.
As long as he doesn't play, what is he allowed? 3 quarters a week.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't physically play, I think he's okay.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't, there's a certain amount of time that he has to play in a varsity game before he's just done.
Or so many quarters he can play in a ninth grade game before he's
Yeah.
eligible to play in a varsity game.
Gotcha. I'm going to look that up in the GHSA bylaws just to make sure. Billy, I think you're right. I think you're allowed like maybe 4 quarters of play per week.
Total. Yes.
Total. I think that's right, but I can't say for certain, so I'm going to look it up to make sure.
Yeah.
So
look it up and let me know.
Yeah, will do. So let's see. Now I want to go ahead and show something else on the screen, and that's this. Let me take that down and put this up. And that's our what our region counterparts are doing, right? So we're doing something a little bit differently this year. Throughout the season, we're keeping track of our region foes because the region looks different this year, right? With the addition of Valdosta and Richmond Hill and the removal of Tift County. So want to make sure all our fans stay up to date on who our opponents are and how they've been doing. Does it surprise you? Okay, Steve Browning reports this, that a player gets 6 quarters a week.
6 quarters.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking 3 and 2, but I guess it's 6. So,
Steve, thanks for sharing that with us, man. I'm going to still look it up in the bylaws just to make sure I know where that's located. So in case I get asked that again. So appreciate you sharing that with us. Here's what our region foes are doing. And I put up region 1 and region 2 on purpose because region 1 is paired up with region 2 in the first round of the playoffs this year. So this is what our future playoff competition is doing as well in the first round. So are you guys surprised at Camden County's slow start at 1 and 2?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
We all know Jeff Aaron.
Yeah.
We've known him for seems like 20 years. He doesn't have too many bad years, and
Right.
And the way he's gotten started this year over there, it's a bad year. I mean,
I got you.
I know we're just a few games into the year, but this is a bad start for a Jeff Aaron team. I mean, can y'all think of a time when he lost his 2 out of his first 3 games? I can't think of it, but
yeah, one of those games, man. One of those games really, really surprised me. I'm gonna go back and look this up. Hold on 1 second. So one of those games, guys, really surprised me because it was like a AA program that you really don't. I think it was like Columbia County, not Columbia City, Lake City, but Columbia County, Georgia, I believe.
Yeah, it was Columbia County. Yes, that beat them.
Yeah,
I believe that's first game of the season.
First game, Billy, you're right. First game.
Yeah, they lost 13-10, but then they followed that up with a loss against Brunswick up in Brunswick, 16-10, and they beat Glen Academy 37-7. Maybe he's made the corrections that he needed to make, and they're bouncing back. Now they take on a team tomorrow night. This looks like an easy win as well. I've never heard of this school. Business Engineering Science Technology High School. Or it's called BEST. BEST for short. BEST High School. They're 0-1-1.
Is that an online high school?
This ain't a Bishop Academy, man.
Did
Bishop Sycamore or something like that.
Did we physically check our address?
What now?
Did we physically go to the school to make sure it existed? I'm just saying.
Is this
It does exist. It does exist. Now they lost their first game against Greene County 27-6, and they beat another team I've never heard of, the Towers High School Titans. They tied that game 6-6. So I just don't think Camden is going to have too much trouble with Best High School.
I mean, I can't. That's just too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So by the time Camden rolls into the region schedule, I don't think they're going to be tested very much. They've got Best, they've got Somerset Academy, Atlantic Coast out of Jacksonville, and then they hit Richmond Hill on October 7th.
And hey, you say a lot when you say they're not going to be tested. You don't know your weaknesses when you haven't been tested, and I think that's one thing that Lowndes has going for them is they got tested early on. That hopefully we made some adjustments from that. Of course, I'm not sure that we could have beat them in week 4.
Right.
American Heritage is a good team. Is a good football team. There was no doubt about that coming in here or leaving here. But we watched Rush Pros several times lose a couple early on and dominate the region. He uses those games to make his team better, and I think Camden, was a shocker to me. I certainly thought they'd be in the mix, outside looking in maybe for top 2 spots, but certainly not have them in last place. So I think we'll be better come region time, and I think Valdosta will be better come region time. So once that happens, we got some football.
I agree, man.
Play somebody before you get better.
Say that again.
They're playing Warner Robins.
Okay, they play one team. One. Look at the rest of their schedule until they get to Lowndes. It's a bunch of cupcakes. They're going and playing against Higher Middle School, Lakeland Middle.
Chase, I thought we were going to work together on this. We want to pump them up. We
Chase, come on, man. You got to we got to start singing from the same sheet of music.
We want them thinking highly of themselves. We want them thinking highly. He's not wrong.
All right, so after that, let's see how. So you got Colquitt County at 3-0 in the region. Valdosta at 3-0. I'll go ahead and put that back up on the screen. Valdosta at 3-0. Lowndes at 2-1. Richmond Hill, to my surprise, is sitting at 2-1. So are they better than we expected? Camden County at 1-2. I think Camden gets that turned around. They'll have a winning record easily by the time they hit region play. So, after 3 weeks of play, there's still as many questions about this region as we had in going into week 1, don't you think?
Yeah, Richmond Hill's a little bit of a surprise.
Have they played anybody absolutely at all?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's Richmond Hill. They're probably playing against Savannah Bay Junior High School and some cupcake
Beach and schools like that.
All right, let me answer that question for you. They're currently 2-1. They beat Effingham County, which is they beat them 14-0. They lost to Ware County 20-7, and they beat Jenkins out of Savannah 38-10.
Okay, so yeah. Richmond Hill's right on pace where I thought they'd be.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So given what we know about the region now after 3 weeks, how would you see these teams? I know I'm putting you on the spot. If you choose to assert your Fifth Amendment rights, you are well within your rights to do so.
Billy, you go first.
Like I said, me and you were supposed to be a team. Guys, I'm going to seat them slightly different than they are now on your list.
All right.
And we're going to start from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
Because, I like to do things a little against the grain. I'm going to put Richmond Hill at the bottom where they belong.
Okay.
Camden County, they're going to be probably the next one up. And, guys, y'all ain't going to like me too much. I don't think the top 3 are going to stay exactly the way they are on this list.
So you think it's Colquitt County at the top, Valdosta number 2, and Lowndes number 3.
And the only other flip-flop will be Richmond Hill and Camden County. That is correct. That's how I feel. Y'all can boo me because I'm just being real.
So in order for that to happen, you're saying right now on the program tonight, you're expecting Valdosta to win the Wintersville Classic this year. Guys, you don't have to answer that out loud.
Let's play some more football.
Okay, I hear you. Chase, what you got for me?
I can't. I agree with Billy on the Richmond Hill and Camden County, being Richmond Hill at the bottom, Camden County at 4. I like Colquitt being at the top, but at the same time, there's still some question marks over there, man. I mean,
we can see the agony on your face, Chase.
we just
He's
gotta
hurt.
play
He
some
don't-
more.
He's hurting.
He didn't even get to the top 3 before he started saying we need to play some more football.
Welcome to the super fan panel, Chase.
Look, we gotta play. Honestly, we gotta play some more football. I mean, I gotta see these teams actually play somebody first before.
Fair enough. You're asserting your Fifth Amendment rights and saying that you need more information.
Chase Chicken Garnto. He's got a
Oh
nickname.
boy,
All right.
is that the nickname that we're going with, Billy?
Hold on. From a coaching standpoint, I think Lowndes matches up really well with Valdosta.
Chase. Chase,
think
according to what
Lowndes-
Billy just said, this is your theme song. Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na.
The coaches that I coach with would probably tell you my theme song should probably be Enter Sandman. No, I think Lowndes and Valdosta are on pace for a collision course, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that they match up really well. I think if Valdosta plays somebody to the caliber of American Heritage, they're sitting at the same record we got right now.
That's
I
right.
agree with that 100%.
I don't think Colquitt County is as strong as Justin Haley would like to make out they are.
Yeah.
I think Colquitt County is very beatable because apparently they have trouble getting all their starters to be eligible on Friday night. So, I mean, with that being said, that top 3 is as interchangeable from one week to the next. I mean, that's just facts. I mean, that's the top 3. That's the big. You might as well call them the big 3 of Region 1. So,
That's right.
Oh, they've been that way. They've been that way even when Valdosta wasn't in Region 1-7A. They were always in the mix. So, yeah, I agree with you completely on that, Chase. Those are interchangeable. I'm just playing a little bit of this reverse psychology, and I want to pump Valdosta up. I want to pump Camden County up.
In that case, I think Valdosta should be sitting at 1. Camden should be sitting at 3, and we'll put Lowndes at 2.
All right. So before I give you guys my picks, let me just remind the guys, everybody watching tonight, about our other sponsors. That's White Oak Investment. Kyle Conger does a great job, guys. He and I actually spoke this afternoon about doing some different things with my money just to move things around and take advantage of possibly the market coming back. We're not sure, but we're putting a plan in place. And so if this describes what you need in your financial life, someone to help you put a sound plan in place, give Kyle a call. He sponsors our show. He sponsors the White Oak Investment Hotline, as well as the White Oak Investment Comment Line, which is really, really come to life in the last few minutes as soon as we started talking about this potential seeding for this region. So thank you so much to Kyle Conger for your sponsorship and your friendship, man. We also want to thank Matthew Godwin at Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. Guys, if you need iPhones, Androids, accessories, small business accounts, I know, from what I understand, the iPhone 14 is coming along pretty nicely. That means that in the next probably month or so, you're probably going to start seeing some deals on the iPhone 13. Whether you want to get one now or wait for the new one, give my buddy Matthew Godwin a call at Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. We also want to thank Steve Nichols, Freedom with Steve Nichols. I will be Steve is going to be out of town tomorrow, so I am guest hosting his show tomorrow morning from 6 to 9 a.m. I don't usually do the political show, but if you're interested in my political views, tune in tomorrow morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, Freedom with Steve Nichols, or catch us on the website at Freedom Networks. That's with an X, freedomnetworks.com. Last but not least is our friends at Commercial Banking Company, 229-242-7600. If you have the need for a local hometown banker that is going to treat you right, that's going to treat you like family, give the folks at Commercial Banking Company a call. Whether you need checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, IRAs, auto loans, or even mortgage loans, give these folks a call. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. So let me go ahead and give you where I think these teams are going to end up. After week 3,
I think Larry got muted again.
I can't hear Larry.
you didn't hear me
Either.
Oh,
No.
there you go.
through any of that? Oh my gosh.
He did that on purpose, guys. That was good, Larry. That was
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
that was really good.
So anyway, those are my picks for the regions. So we're going to go ahead and move on. How about that? No. I'm just kidding around. Guys, we want to thank all of our sponsors that I just showed up on the screen. I apologize for them for having the mute button on. I'm not sure how it got on, to be honest with you. But I like the way Billy did that, starting with the bottom. I think Richmond Hill is going to come up in the 5th spot. I do think that Camden is going to come up number 4. I've been saying this all season long, all preseason, starting from, I think, April or May, and I'll stick with this. Lowndes is going to beat Valdosta again this year. So Valdosta is going to end up as the 3rd seed. But there's a caveat to that. There is a good chance that Valdosta may end up beating Colquitt County. And there's a good chance that in a close game, Colquitt may beat Lowndes. So you may have a 3-way tie for that number 1 seed. So it comes down to the tiebreaker. But I'm assuming that Colquitt is going to beat Valdosta. So that would put Valdosta as the 3rd seed. I think it's going to be a so after week 3, right? My opinion is it's still going to be a very close game between Colquitt and Lowndes, and the experience that Colquitt brings to that game. They're probably going to edge out our Vikings and take the number 1 seed, and you might see Lowndes as the number 2 seed. Now, if our Vikings grow up and continue on the trajectory that they're on now, I could easily see Lowndes going into Moultrie and taking out Colquitt County. But as it stands after week 3, I think Colquitt may edge out Lowndes for the number 1 seed. There you go. What do you think about that? Those picks?
I'm all right with that. I do think Colquitt falls before that.
Yeah. So let's see. Michael Jarvis, he is a Packer fan. I call him our weekly interloper because he likes to keep tabs on what the Vikings are doing. He says Packers 28, Lee 24 at the half. Packers win 41-40 in a big time game tomorrow night. Colquitt County at Lee County.
Nope, not at Lee. Nope.
So you think Lee's going to take out Colquitt tomorrow night?
There is no way you can go to Lee County and let Lee's refs officiate a football game and you beat them.
No, there ain't no way.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's let's see. Kenneth Hurst says Lee takes them down Friday night. So it's a split decision so far.
I think Lee's got everything in the world that can beat him. I think Lee shows up. I think Colquitt comes into Lee County full of themselves. They come in flat, thinking they already got it won. And I think Lee shows them something that they ain't seen before.
Yeah, so I agree with Candace Marie. She said earlier on in the comments, she said tomorrow night. What did she say? She said after this week, we're gonna see a lot, right? So she was implying that a lot of questions are going to be answered about Valdosta and Colquitt because they both have big games tomorrow night. Now, the only caveat to that, guys, it's supposed to be really, really awful weather tomorrow night. So if it's sloppy and that affects the game, then I don't know how much stock I'd put in that because you're going to see a premium on the running games, and that's going to really kind of skew the results that we were expecting, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely the weather is going to play. It's not going to be as quality for either team, and like you say, the turnovers, that sort of thing. You know, the ball bounces funny sometimes, and I think slippery, nasty, wet weather affects football games in a way that you can't control. So I don't know if you get any answers. The one thing that you can't control is Lee County refs, and they'll beat you every time. I don't care if it's raining or not.
Now, Lee, what do you mean Lee County refs, man?
Hey, that's the safest bet. If you're betting on that football game, you bet on the Lee County refs.
I hear you, guys. You know, as a former football official in my own right, you know, it kind of hurts my heart when people blame the refs.
Oh, we ain't blaming the refs. we're saying if you're going to bet on that game tomorrow night, you should bet on the Lee County officials because they're going to win.
I understand. I understand. So Jennifer, I really love our fan base in the fact that it's so diverse. You got young and old. You got new fans, older, more mature fans that have been there forever. You've got men, women, boys, and girls. I love to see our lady fans that make comments. One of them is Jennifer Fountain Green. She says, makes a very astute observation. We're going to find out a lot about our Lowndes team on the road next Friday night when we go up to Sharpsburg to take on East Coweta. What do you think about that comment?
Yes, East Coweta's mascot, team name, whatever. Anybody know?
You kind of broke it. You kind of cut out.
Kind of broke it.
I said, does anybody know who East Coweta's mascot is or who their
the Indians?
Team,
the Indians.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Indians travel by horseback. Vikings load up on ships with swords and spears. I'm going to place my money on Vikings with swords and spears. So, yeah.
Well, seeing as how there's not a waterway from Lowndes County to East Coweta, we're going to have to travel by horseback as well.
We don't. Vikings, once they hit land, they travel in droves. We march. Plunder.
So keep this in mind, guys. Next Friday night, we'll be on the road. So if you are planning on going up to Sharpsburg, I put the map up on the road on the screen on purpose. It's a long way up there. It's not right outside of Atlanta. You see the metro Atlanta area right there, and there's Sharpsburg right here. So plan accordingly because you're going to have to get off the interstate probably around Forsyth. You probably don't want to go all the way up to Locust Grove. You may want to go through Griffin. There's a couple of different ways to get there, but plan accordingly, especially on a Friday afternoon. Okay, because it's a long way up there. And when you get off I-75 headed west to Sharpsburg, it seems like it takes forever to get there because you're traveling on smaller roads.
Yeah, and I got a lot of love for East Coweta. It wasn't too many years ago that we played out East Coweta up there in Sharpsburg, and we were going through the whole prayer at the football games thing, and East Coweta showed out to show us support and love on our whole prayer thing. So, I don't have a whole lot of hate for East Coweta, but it is a long way to Sharpsburg on a Friday afternoon. Rush hour traffic gets a little rough between Griffin and south side of Fulton County and Jonesboro area. So, yeah, it's going to be a afternoon that you got to leave, but it'll be a fun afternoon.
Yeah. So I do. Candace says, Larry, you know what I mean? I do. She says that Valdosta and Colquitt, they don't have the team that they think. And although the score didn't reflect the overall game, but Cook gave Valdosta a handful until the weather delay. I think one of you guys made that point earlier in the show.
Yep,
Cook really played well against Valdosta. They really did.
Yeah, Cook's on their own selves. It wasn't Valdosta. Cook's on their own selves.
Yep.
Yeah. Valdosta has a defense. There's no doubt about it. But Valdosta's offense is very
absolutely.
lacking.
So, guys, it's time for me to roll out this new segment called the Migraine Moment, sponsored by Valdosta Migraine and Spine Clinic.
Can I say something before you do that, Larry?
Yeah, man.
Since we're talking about the Migraine and Spine Clinic, I just want to give some love to the Batson family. Josh's father-in-law passed away earlier this week, and
did not know that.
I think his services may be tomorrow, but just want to give some love to the Batson family and let them know they're in our prayers.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you bringing that up. I also want to but I also want to say happy birthday to Lowndes baseball coach. I think Ryan Page's birthday was either today or yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
So he does a great job with that baseball program. So kudos to Coach Page, what he's done with that program, and happy birthday, Coach. We think a lot of you.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, the migraine moment of the week is that award goes to the North Miami Beach offense. I almost said their quarterback, but it goes to the entire offense. But because these are just a handful of shots that I took Friday night that represent how well our defense played. Check out these shots, guys. You talk about a sack in the end zone for a safety. Another, we talked about, guys, it's no secret on the show. Sometimes we talk about the secondary and the challenges that we have to overcome with the secondary, and they got to get better and things like that. But I saw some great secondary play Friday night as well. And the photo on the bottom there is just exhibits that of what I'm talking about. So I also wanted to, I cannot remember number 34's name, but he is a young linebacker. Number 16, I believe, is Keelan. Is that Keelan Hicks? No. Jamarcus Parrish.
Yeah,
I think that's Jamarcus Parrish on the defensive. He's a safety, 10th grade safety, no less. Okay. So the future is bright in the Lowndes secondary. And number 34 is also another young kid, and that's Austin Williford. He's a 5'11", 190-pound linebacker, 10th grader. He's making some great plays in that offensive backfield, and he harassed that quarterback all night long.
He's a good-looking kid. He kind of fits the eye test for sure.
Yeah,
on a linebacker.
And so here's another couple of plays you see in quarterback being harassed again in the top photos. You got C.J. Brown with a pick in the end zone to stop a drive. I mean, that quarterback, when he let the ball go, I was looking at his eyes and the receiver, and they looked like they had a connection, right? He slightly overthrew the ball, but C.J. Brown had that ball played perfectly, and he intercepted, made a great over-the-shoulder catch for an interception in the end zone. So my migraine moment goes to the North Miami Beach offense, because they were being harassed all night long. So guys, if the Miami team hasn't left town yet, please go see Josh Batson and Justin Haskett, because they can take care and treat the migraine that you're probably suffering from today. So that's my smart aleck remark to end the show. Sorry about that. Wow. Sorry about that. Chase, come on, man. Come on, man.
I got nothing, man. I mean, I thought,
yeah, and absolutely. Candace Marie reminds me, don't forget big number 9, Coleman Lewis. Absolutely.
Yeah, he come through that line fast from that linebacker position.
Now, you want to talk about eye test. That is a pretty football player. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
He checks
when
all the boxes.
Yeah, when Anders sends him on a blitz, he is coming through, and I mean, he is downhill.
That's right. So as good as this defense is starting to look week after week in their growth and maturity, we still got to remember these are a bunch of young kids that are going to be on that defensive front for a long, long time, for the next couple of years. So this defense is just going to get better, and by the time these kids graduate, they're going to leave their own legacy at Lowndes High School. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm still thinking that, our secondary play has improved. It improved a lot this past week. But I will say this for that North Miami Beach team, they can take that, and I'm sure somebody will get them this. I thought their quarterback was tough as nails. And I thought he done some really good things. I mean, Lowndes just having to be too much for him. And our defense stayed in his face all night.
Yep, absolutely, man.
But I thought he played really well.
He did. He was a tough kid considering the beating that he was taking.
Yeah, I mean, I had to talk to him. I can't say enough about that kid's keep getting back up, man. I mean, that almost reminded me of the Rodemaker beating that Thomas Davis and Jacquez Hunter and the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse gave him a couple of years ago at Concrete Palace.
Yeah, so all these fans on the White Oak Investment comment line, they're reminding me, number 4, he's a linebacker, he's a sophomore. Georgia coach trainer says number 23, Jacquay Brown, he's an 11th grader. So you see the theme here is comment after comment is all these big plays are being made, with the exception of C.J. Brown. All these big plays are being made by underclassmen. which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that, we don't know some of these players' names, not because we don't follow football, but they're just sophomores. We have a hell. They're just sophomores, guys.
So Jarvis, if you're listening to me, if you're still watching, if you're going to get us, man, y'all better get us this year, because the next 2 years, that defense is going to be something else. It really is. So anyway,
we got a lot of stud sophomore receivers too. Jalen Carter made Larry, you remember this from Friday night, that catch he made on the sidelines. He touched that thing right on the sidelines, and I was thoroughly impressed. And you've got a lot of sophomore talent that's in the receiving corps as well. It's going to be there for a few years. That's real big time players, and they just they'll get their chance as the season progresses to make their mark and on into next year. But keep an eye out for that young receiving corps as well.
Yeah. Speaking of nicknames, Keith Blaylock, last comment on the show tonight. Keith Blaylock, I think this is appropriate. He says that's the no-name defense. And that compliment is probably made in the best possible way to use that. I mean, that's accurate, right? That's no-name defense is stepping up and maturing big time, and I'm loving it. I really am, guys. So anyway, now as far as the rain tomorrow night, you guys stay safe wherever you go. If you stay in to stay out of the way, I don't blame you. Now I've got a senior nephew that's in the band for Berrien County, so we're trekking the weather and heading over to Lakeland tomorrow night to see my alma mater Berrien Rebels play, mainly because my nephew's in the band. I'm hoping that the weather holds off long enough where his band will get to play halftime show. So we'll see. So guys, that's going to do our show. That's going to be our show for tonight. We want to thank all our sponsors. I want to thank my super fan panel, Billy Pearson, Chase Garnto. I'm Larry Godwin. We missed Chris Bisher this week. Who did you need to say something, Chase?
No.
Oh, okay. You're saying bye. Okay.
I was just saying we miss Chris. Chris, we miss you, buddy.
I got you, man. Hopefully he can join us again next week. He is, in his words, headed up to God's country, which is Athens, Georgia, for the big game this week.
God's country is about an hour and 30 minutes.
Don't want to hear it. That's another show. That's another topic for another show. So, guys, thanks for watching the show this week. This has been the Viking Nation live. And last thing I'll say is go Vikings. See you guys later.
Vikings. Go Dogs.
Vikings.